reconvene the meeting from the Monday night, the 6th, I believe it was, where we recessed the meeting to reconvene today to hear the recommendation and request from the school board for the budget for our 25-26 fiscal year. Before I do that, before I mention that, I want to recognize we have 2 school board members here today. I want to thank them for coming, Patty Mason and Lori Spees, the chairman and vice chairman of the school board. State statute says that the Board of Education will present their budget request to the commissioners in the early part of the month of May, giving us time to work out the details and complete our budget for the July 1 fiscal year beginning. We are disappointed, to say the least, that we're here this morning to hear that request from the Board of Education, and no request will be forthcoming. They have not come up with a number to give us and request for what funding they want us to provide. So having said that, I have a question, Mr. Veit. We've heard that that an elected official has stated that we, the county, have told the school system exactly how much the budget request should be. Could you address that, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. Back in March, I did meet with the leadership at the time of the school system to have sort of a preliminary meeting to determine what the process would be like and what we're looking for this year. I did not provide any number to the staff at that time. I would not do that. I did share, as we talked through some of the issues that they had in front of them at the time, we did talk through what some of that would mean from a county perspective, but certainly no way did I tell them a specific number to put in a budget to present to their board to then present to you. I look forward to continuing working with the staff on that, but to this point, I provided them no guidance on a number.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anybody have another question or comment?
Mr. Chairman, I do. An elected official also on the Board of Education. I just state for the record, it's not the 2 that are sitting here today. We appreciate you working with us as you have. But another elected official on the Board of Education stated, and I wrote down the quote, and it is concerning low wealth funding is volatile. There will be a reduction in that funding. It's due to our revaluation going from $8 billion to $11 billion, and that Craven County Schools did not receive a share of that revenue increase, that the county does not recognize it's truly maintenance of effort for the school system, and as a result, the Craven County Schools lost $500,000 in low wealth funding. My question is, has this Board of Commissioners, definitely I want you to address the low wealth and explain it to us if you will. But if I'm reminded correctly, our last budget, we gave them more than what they requested. I think we gave them $1.2 million in this current fiscal budget that we're in. So would you mind explaining just a little bit about low wealth money?
Yes, sir. And I want to preface this with I'm not an expert on that process. It does something, a relationship between DPI and the school system. It is a formula, and there is a flaw, as I understand it, that happens when a county would go through revaluation. You see a significant increase in the total valuation of the tax base of the county, which we did. We went through that. It has adjusted the formula. But it's also very cyclical that there are many counties last year and now this year that are going through reval. So it won't be long before we're back in the same position we were in previous. With that said, you are correct. We gave them 101% of their request last year, which was over $1.2 million. And, when we looked at reval, which again was 2 budgets ago, we looked at it from a perspective, and the board went in with this mentality that we were going to approach revenue neutral, right? That was our goal. And we did that. We went revenue neutral, which what that means is that the tax rate that was based on the previous valuation and the tax rate that was based on the new valuation would adjust downward to receive the same amount of tax dollars we got in the previous year. So in essence, we went to 44 cents from 56 cents to adjust for that. So we really are back to zero. What some people get confused about in the process is there's, just like every year, natural growth in the tax base, right? New houses, new buildings, new commercial entities, things that happen that increase the value unrelated to revaluation. And that happened. We did have some growth. We still have growth. But I think the amount of money that you appropriated the school board was adequate based on that growth last year. So I hope I answered that, but that's, to my knowledge, how that works. But there is a conversation that needs to happen with DPI, because revaluation, having these strong fluctuations, is not helpful to our friends at the school board. So any way we can help get that formula flattened out so there's not these large swings would be certainly very helpful to them, I'm sure.
Mr. Veit, for the board and for the people who are listening and watching, would you expound on, just because the county went revenue neutral, does that mean that all municipalities went revenue neutral? Because I think one of the confusions is people saw their tax bill go up, not because county taxes went up, but because municipality taxes went up.
That's a great point. So each elected body who has taxing authority can set whatever tax rate they want any year. In a reval year, it is incumbent upon them to look at the numbers and determine what their needs are. There were several municipalities within Craven County that did not go revenue neutral. Some may have not even adjusted the tax rate at all. And that does, because we are a consolidated taxing county, I mean, we tax for the municipalities. It can be confusing to them unless you read the fine print. You'll see that the county stayed relatively stable, but you will see that increase. But when you look at the total, it's hard to decipher it out, right? And that was some of the issue we faced back then.
Also, for the benefit of those at home, when we mentioned 1.2 million, that was the increase. We, as I recall, the total amount that went to the school system last year was somewhere in the, help me, 30 million?
Well, when you look at it, that's a question that requires the inputs that you want to calculate. If you look at the total package, and I don't happen to have the budget in front of me, but it's significantly more than what most people refer to as the general operating budget, right? You got to add capital, you got to add the technology, the pass-through funds that come from fines and forfeitures, as you dealt with on Monday, PILT money. There's all types of sources of funding that come in, some of it highly restricted, whether it be to school capital or specific programs within the schools.
I would just comment that of the total county budget, the largest single piece goes to education.
Education, yes, sir.
The largest single piece.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
With that, did you have any other comments that you wanted to make?
No, I think it's clear, and you've all heard, and I've talked to every single one of you over the last few months, that there's been some conversation that folks are losing their jobs because of something about Craven County government and our ability to do something. And I would just say that I think without a budget here today, that's not fair to us. We've tried very hard to work with them, and we'll continue to try very hard. But there's been no decision by this board on any funding level. There's been no discussion about what it would take to even get to a funding level, because we're not there yet. So I think any of those things that are related to Craven County having done something that may affect someone's job, it's just not there yet.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's a great point. We've got into a blame game here. And it's also a witch hunt by some. Nobody on this board has said that we didn't want to fund education, or we won't want to fund education. That's what they put out to scare and to create turmoil in this county. I think everybody on here has been a part of budgets where we have raised taxes for education. I've said it before, the only time I've ever raised taxes, to vote to raise taxes, has been for Craven County schools since I've been on this Board of Commissioners. And I am really, I'm tired of one or two people trying to destroy the relationship between the Board of Education and the county, between the county and our school system. It's time it stopped. I'm going to be attacked for what I say here you are and you are on Facebook today. I've been personally attacked. My family has been gone after because my wife is educated in the school system. It's a witch hunt after her to get back at me. And I, for one, am just, I've never seen anything like this. My grandfather was involved in the political arena in this county for 50 years. He raised me. I sat back and I watched what went on. He served on the school board 8 years, served on this board for 15. I've been on here for a number of years. I've never seen, and this is not to criticize you, Madam Chair. I commend your efforts in trying to work with us. But I have never seen in my years in being involved in the political arena in my family, anything such as this that's going on in this county with the school system. And again, it could be worked out if people were willing to sit at the table and talk about it, but this blame game that continues on is ridiculous. I think we're all committed to funding education and doing everything we possibly can to make public schools in this county better. I want that. And we've shown it through the years in the votes we've taken. So,
Thank you. Well, we look forward to getting a request from the school system as soon as possible so that we can move forward with our budget. And we appreciate the effort that you're putting forth. We understand that with a vacant position of the finance director and the fact that you just very recently got a new person as the interim superintendent, we understand the challenge, but that doesn't change the fact that we're up against a time crunch and we need to move along. So with that, do I have a request for a adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No opposed. Thank you. We're adjourned.